everyone. We've had an amazing morning. I hope this is it is working. Great. So I'm talking about sponsor licenses and international recruitment. But before I do that, because others talked about their blue marble lodges and advertised, so I'm going to advertise too. I'm going to advertise my books. I've got 4 books that are on the table just there. This is my latest one called Kicking Off the Heels in the Kitchen. And it's a book about my journey as a businesswoman, as a mom, as a wife, as a migrant, trying to navigate systems. So anyone who's in business, especially women, but also the men, so that you can understand your woman better. This is an excellent book and an excellent manual, just from life experience that I have learned. And then I've got a couple of other ones. I've got Dealing with Mother Wounds and Girl in the Mirror and Planted. So you can have this one. Yeah, just because you're just so gorgeous. So you can have that one. And you can have that one because you're smiling at me so much. So they're over there. They're just £20. Anyone else? 2 going here. Thank you. It's all for the ladies. I'm discriminating. Discriminating. All the books are tailored towards women. So I love writing, and I set up a law firm in 2008 when I was 32, and ran that business for 10 years. And then I thought that I was setting up Tulia, which is a social enterprise providing legal advice and support for migrants, something that's a bit more laid back and something that was not going to be so taxing for me. Whilst my husband was running the children's homes, I had calculated the money, the 300 million. So I thought, yes, now we're going to be rich. So I can write books and do my conferences and relax. But Ofsted is just another beast. So we are on that journey, aren't we? We're getting there. But what happened with Tulia is it took a mind of its own because of the migrants who came into the UK between 2022 and 2024. So I'm talking about sponsorship and I'm talking about health and care visas. So between February 2022 to December 2023, there were 105,000. I don't know if these are the right figures, but they are from the government website. Granted visas for care assistants and senior carers. And with them came 122,000 dependents. And those numbers we had never seen such numbers. So many migrants coming into the UK all at one time. And I believe in this room, I'm sure most people know someone, have sponsored someone, have got a relative who came in during that period. And so Tulia became an organization that our work just, I would say the demand for our services increased by about 80%. So we just started getting work from every angle. There was so much demand. So my time of writing books and relaxing just ended because I had to come back into work and just deliver the service because there was such a great need for it. So at our organization, we provide immigration advice. We work with sponsors, sponsor license applications, compliance audit, legal representations for individual migrants. But as a CIC, we also provide support for migrants dealing with domestic violence, relational issues in relation to integration, cultural awareness, and just understanding the environment that migrants live in. So we've been supporting sponsors in education, in supporting them to apply for licenses, but also to keep licenses. And one of the things that we've seen over the last couple of years is a large number of care businesses applying for sponsorship licenses. and being granted. And I know when the meet and greet started, I remember standing up in Birmingham, I think somewhere, and I know that Mr. Mate always quotes me saying, willing buyer, willing seller. And there became another little business model where there was a lot of entrance into the UK coming to work. And as a result of that, a lot of people who held sponsor licenses had their licenses revoked. So over 470 licenses were revoked in the care sector between July 2022 and December 2024. And these revocations, they affected more than 39,000 care workers linked to the sponsors. And then in 2024, in the second quarter, it increased. 524 licenses were suspended and 499 revoked. And in total, up in 2024, in Q1, 2, and 3, over 1,222 licenses were revoked. And that had such a massive impact on businesses, on carers, on communities, on families. It affected people in such an awful way. And why was this happening? The Home Office targeted serious breaches. The Home Office did not police the issuing of sponsorship licenses or certificates. They just dished them out. And as a result of that, some people obviously took advantage of that. And it led to issuing excessive certificates of sponsorship to even non-existent businesses, to startups. And some companies would take 400 people and not even have one client, or have one client and take so many people, 200, 250, with just 5 clients. And I remember one person coming to our drop-in that we do, and she said, we would share that client. So I said, how do you share that client? She says, we had 10 carers. So we each try and look after that one client going, and we share the work. And I was saying, you can't share the work. But that was the situation on the ground. So there were so many people who ended up being in England, destitute, not going to work. And obviously the Home Office became aware of this, and that led to the compliance action and the revocation. There was underpaying of staff, illegal deductions, abuse of staff. There was fraud, so many things that have been happening. And so over 39,000 care workers, even more, I think the government doesn't know the numbers, are looking for sponsors, or they've become illegal migrants, or they are just wandering aimlessly. So our organization supports carers. We have legal drop-ins. We work with our local authority to try and give support to the carers, as well as to the sponsors in our area, to try and mitigate the impact of what has happened. And as a result of this, we come to the white paper and the regional hubs for care recruitment. So I'll probably just talk about the regional hubs and the white paper. The regional hubs for care recruitment, what the government has said is that care workers can no longer be recruited from abroad, and employers will have to recruit from the pool of carers who are here locally, who are here. And so employers have to show that they've tried to recruit from the local hubs before they take on carers who are switching. So people may be switching from graduate visas, or switching from other employers, or switching from dependent to carers. Some of these applications are being refused, where employers have not demonstrated that they have tried to recruit through the care hub. So it's important for all employers to register with their local care hubs so that they can have access to the staff who are there. I think the major problems that employers are saying is that some of the people are not drivers, some of the people who are registered there cannot really speak English, some of the people they're unemployable. Yeah. So, which is why they're where they are possibly. So it's just important to demonstrate that you've tried and keep a record of the interviews, keep a record of why. And another thing that the Home Office is doing, the reason why they're saying to the displaced workers, listen, they've poured 16 million into this. And so this is their solution to the problem that they caused. And the problem with this solution is out of these hubs, and they've got an organization called Lifted, where they tell all of the carers to register with Lifted. And they've given Lifted millions of pounds to do this. And in all the time that Lifted has been there, guess how many carers they've placed? 45. 45. Yes, 45. And 4% of the displaced workers have been redeployed with this wonderful little program of theirs. So it's not working. But what they're also using this program for is enforcement. So the Home Office needed to gather data of all the people who are here who came, who are displaced. And let me say this, as the Labour government is so good at enforcement, but they don't talk about it a lot. So what they're doing is they're gathering all the data. We work very closely with our local hub, and they say there's a bigger motive towards this. It's not just about recruitment. So they want all the information and the data so they know where the people are. And so now they said the ones who don't speak English, they need to go back. The ones who can't get jobs, they need to go back. Why are they here? Because they came to work. And if they're not working, they must go. So they are enforcing removals, but they're also using this information to help them in planning their enforcement and their removal. So they're not being kind. They are using this as another tool in order to track. So our local hub was saying we're really concerned because we know what's coming. Because what's going to happen when the leave to remain that they have ends, because the government have said they're not issuing out the 60-day letters, and they're allowing people to look for employment and look for switches if the sponsor license was revoked. So we see that in the coming months and years, we're going to have many people who are here illegally, who've come in and who are unable to work, who are unemployable because they don't speak English, they can't drive, so they're not going to be able to get the switches. And that is not really it will be a problem for employers because you're being encouraged to recruit internally, not internationally. So the carers who are here already, their leave to remain, when they get to 5 years, they're going to leave care, I think, many of them. And so it will lead again to a shortage going forward. And we may then get back to international recruitment, we don't know. But for now, for carers, 6-1, 4, 5, and 6, they cannot be recruited from abroad. You have to recruit internally. But for those in children's services, like Machada and Yasha, you guys can still recruit from abroad. You're not governed by that. And you can get youth workers, you can get housekeepers, you can even get your staff to come with dependents. So you guys can still do your... So if you are regulated by Ofsted, if you are regulated by the SRA, if you're regulated by other, you can still, they never said that. So people will say they've stopped international recruitment. People cannot come into the UK. That's not